Hi there, this is Michael Kramer of Mach Capital. Today is Tuesday, June 30th, and it is around 4:15 p.m. New York time. We'll be starting to get a lot more economic data over the next 2 days. Remember, U.S. markets are closed on Friday, July 3rd, so the job report will come a day earlier. But first, we'll have to get through the ADP National Employment Report for the month of June, and that's expected to show that jobs increased by 118,000 in the month, down slightly from 122,000 in May. Meanwhile, ISM manufacturing index expected to come in at 54.0, in line with the May reading. Prices paid index expected to tick lower to 78, down from 82.1. Also worth noting, on Wednesday, July 1st, we'll be having the ECB forum, and there'll be a panel that comes at 8 a.m. Eastern time, which will feature the heads of the central banks, Christine Lagarde from the ECB, Kevin Warsh from the Fed, Andrew Bailey from the BOE, and Tiff Macklin from the Bank of Canada. And then, of course, on Friday, July 2nd, we'll have the non-farm payroll report. We're looking for just 110,000 jobs to have been created in the month of June, down from 172,000 in May. Unemployment rates expected to remain unchanged at 4.3%. Average hourly earnings are expected to increase by 0.3%, in line with May reading. Year over year, we're looking for average earnings to increase by 3.5%, up from 3.4%. So we care a lot about earnings right now because inflation's been running higher than actual earnings, and that creates negative real earnings for the consumer, which means consumers really aren't keeping up with the pace of inflation at this point. It's something that we'll need to continue to watch in the future, especially if inflation remains elevated. So heading into the job report and all these other economic announcements, we've seen the euro obviously weaken materially over the last couple of weeks, but the last couple of days, we've seen the euro strengthen a little bit, which seems natural given that it has fallen so much in recent days, and it did reach oversold conditions by the time we got to last week, when we had noted that we were trading at the lower Bollinger Band and we had seen the RSI dip below 30. So now it seems almost normal for us to kind of get a little bit of a rebound here to see where things are going. You can see right now the euro is sitting right at the 10-day exponential moving average. We've tested that moving average really for 3 days now and haven't been able to get above it. If any of the economic data comes in if any of the economic data that we're expecting over the next 2 days really comes in strong and shows that the Fed really needs to be worried more about the inflation mandate than the labor side of the equation, is really going to shift market focus and probably lead to the dollar strengthening versus the euro, the pound, and the yen. When we look at the British pound, it's a very similar setup here. The only difference is at this point is that we've been able to get above the 10-day exponential moving average, and at least for now, we're continuing to hold above it. That also means that the 20-day moving average is likely to be the next area of resistance around 133. Also, like the euro, not unusual to think that we're going to see the pound potentially rebound a little bit. However, strong U.S. data is going to make it really difficult, I think, for the pound to strengthen any further. And again, when we look at the pound on a longer-term chart, you can see a giant, what looks like rising wedge that's really formed in it over the last couple of years. Obviously, if we see the pound break below support and break below the low on June 24th of around 130, 170, that could really set up a big move down and a big weakening for the pound. When we look at the Japanese yen, that's also been weakening in a material way. In fact, if anything, it seems to be leading at this point the euro and the pound. At least when we look at it from this perspective, the yen is a little bit overbought at this point, but I think the key piece here is that it has surpassed the July 2024 highs. So when we look at a weekly chart, you can clearly see that this is an area of resistance around 160. There's also another little pocket of resistance potentially that dates all the way back to December of 1986, up potentially around the 164.5 to 165 region. I mean, again, if this is a giant inverse head and shoulders pattern that's formed in the yen, it's quite possible that the yen could be going all the way back towards 200 and potentially beyond. in the not too distant future. I mean, you can even look at this pattern and also see an ascending triangle has somewhat formed. When we look at Brent oil, again, right now we've been finding support around 73.5. To this point, we haven't broken below it. It has been a couple of days. You've seen the fill the gap that was created from February 27th. Obviously, a break of support at this point probably means a drop down to around 67. The one thing I will note is that, at least at this point, we can probably look at the price of oil and say, well, it's not really completely oversold. There's obviously room in the Bollinger Band to go lower. But I would also say that, we haven't made a lower low yet on RSI. So something to watch. You can see we're getting very close to that moving average, watching potentially for a breakout above it and potential reversal in oil. Maybe that could send it back to 82. Gold has solidified and at least stabilized over the last couple of days, bouncing off of 39.50 or so. Here's your 10-day exponential moving average continuing to run lower. This is obviously a big level. I think at this point for gold, a break of 39.50 in gold prices probably lead to an even further drop. You can begin to make a case that perhaps a descending triangle pattern is even starting to form here. We could be talking about gold going back to around 37.20. When we look at the DAX, not really much happening here. We've seen the DAX index basically move back towards 25,000. Haven't really been able to break out and push beyond it at this point. If we do manage to break out above 25,000, I would think the next major area of support probably comes around 25,750 or so. Outside of that, you can see we're forming what could be a potentially large pattern here with maybe a double top or something else potentially going on that we'll have to take a closer look at to see how this evolves over the next couple of days and weeks. The FTSE also continues to really consolidate sideways with really no clear sense of direction at this point. If we look at the price of copper, that has moved up a little bit, but not by very much. So again, I still happen to think that if you can figure out the direction of copper, it's going to help you with the FTSE. But more importantly, you can see here that resistance right now risks around 10,500. A break of resistance probably sends us back to 10,670. There is also a uptrend that is in place, which could be forming an ascending triangle, also suggesting higher prices. In the meantime, we still do have some solid support levels around 10,200. In the meantime, the NASDAQ 100 has rallied the last couple of days after a pretty rough week last week. You can see that after today's trading session, we were able to reclaim and move back above the 10-day exponential moving average. You can also see that there's room in the Bollinger Band to basically rise all the way back to and maybe even exceed the old highs a little bit to around 30,940. That would obviously be where resistance would be, at least at this point technically, if we were to continue higher. In the meantime, strong job report, higher rates, stronger dollar, probably makes it harder for that to continue. I would then think that maybe you'd be talking about moving back down, retesting the low at around 28,990. A break below that would reset up a test of the June 10th low. It's the same story for the S&P 500 at this point. Just broke above the 10-day exponential moving average, above the 20-day simple moving average, upper Bollinger Band, somewhere around the old highs, right around 7,620 or so. That would obviously be the next level of resistance, although it looks like there's lots of resistance in between these two areas, which may make it more challenging. Again, support lives somewhere probably around 7,300 at this point. Finally, the Dow just continues to trend higher. The Dow really has a very different makeup, again, of the other two indexes in the U.S. You can see right now we're just really kind of tracing right along the 10-day exponential moving average. And if you wanted to, you could say that we're really also scraping right along the upper Bollinger Band. RSI just ever so slightly starting to move up again. So we're not quite overbought yet on the Dow, and the trend looks fairly bullish. So it's quite possible that you could still have a little bit further to go, with the upper Bollinger Band sort of being your resistance area if the trend continues and the index and the average manages to stay above those moving averages. Anyway, I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next.